Well, I have to say that just being here and amongst all of you, there's no better place that I would like to spend that extra day of the year. I know that there are a lot of people that flew in, by the way, on that day yesterday that I was sitting on my sofa watching the wind blow and thinking, thank goodness I wasn't on the plane. But for those of you who braved the airfare and flying in, thank you also. Really, really excited to have you here. I'm going to try to see if this. I'm just going to hit. Oh, one more. That's Katie. You're going to hear from Katie. That's much better headshot. And one more. I'm just going to hit click. Thank you. This is me. That's my title. If you want to go one more, Carrie. So again, welcome to Atlanta. If you haven't been to our headquarters, we're really excited to have you here. I will have to say that, oh, you can't hear? Let me move my hair. I have to say that Atlanta, to me, is like the mecca of marketing and advertising. When you actually look at the companies based here, the talent that's here, and bar none, I would say that like this room of talented marketers, I'm just thrilled to listen and learn from all of you. This is why I love the Brand Innovators events. I think this is what, the third or the fourth one we've hosted here. And I learn something new every time I come to these. So I really am excited for the agenda today. We're going to talk a little bit about data, and thank you, I'll just let you data and insights and emotional branding, and what that means. And as you think about all of those, that's kind of the trifecta of how we're thinking about marketing today. And I'll share some insights of how we are looking at it with IHG, and hopefully we'll inspire you. We'll have some great discussions. We'll learn from you, and we'll continue to share, what we're doing to create great hospitality and great experiences every time you check in our hotels. So, with that, staying ahead of the marketing game. Not to date myself, but I will, because I'm going to share that I worked at Kodak. For those of you who are potentially younger, Kodak was a film company. My 16-year-old had no idea who Kodak was, which really pained me. But when I started, emotional branding was absolutely core to who Kodak was. That's where I learned the art of storytelling, and it really seemed easier at the time because we had like 5 channels that we had to market, and we had a long history or a long runway to be able to develop the plans. By the way, I have some Kodak colleagues, former colleagues, that are here today, so they can appreciate the fact that Kodak was a great foundation when you start thinking about emotional marketing. But if you look at where we are today, in general, media changes all the time. I feel like I have to have a PhD in marketing every day because something new has come out, and we have to make sure that we're a constant student of tools and understanding, how we can continue to cut through the noise. Everything is media, from text on your phone to just being in your car and listening to radio to now everything with Gen AI. And we're going to hear a lot about that today. But it's so hard to be able to cut through and make sure that our message is resonating. And everybody's overwhelmed. There's just so much media and content out there. It's really hard to be a marketer these days. It's much harder than it was, at least back in the day. So if you want to think about how do we cut through?
Let's put you, Liz.
How do we break through and stand out?
You use the podium. Our friends on this side of the room can't quite hear. Do you mind using the podium mic?
Oh, sure. Podium mic. Is that better for those in the back? Thank you. It's really hard to understand. Okay, so how do we break through? If you want to think through what our agenda is today, there is data and insights, obviously. Carrie. Data and insights. I call it inspired data because you can be data rich But insight 4. So how do you really understand what your data is telling you? Underneath that, there are customer motivators. And then what I like to refer to as the marketing of emotion. How do you bring it to life across every channel? So Inspire data. We are so lucky at IHG. I don't know that every marketing organization has as much data as we do from a first party. We know where you stay. We know what brands you prefer. Usually if you're booking on a corporate rate, we know what company you work for. So we have a lot of data that we can make sure that we're personalized and relevant to give you the right offer, to give you the right message, and continue to ensure that you understand what we can do to help give you a great experience. So look at this. We've got very robust programs, and you're going to hear a little bit more in deep analysis into some of these programs later this afternoon from the teams. But lifecycle marketing, we know when you joined our program, and again, if you had a great stay and you just became a gold member or a platinum member, we give you a message that helps recognize you for that through all of the data that we have. We continue to make sure that we understand what brands that you prefer to stay at. Do you like boutique? Do you like more of an extended stay? Are you a luxury customer? And really, relevancy and data and insights are critical for us to be able to market this way. And if you go to the next slide, we also have some demographic, and we're working with our third-party vendors as well as a lot of our partners, like our Chase partners, to be able to continue to understand even further who you are and how we can create relevancy for you, whether you stay for work, whether you're traveling for leisure, and continuing to give you relevant marketing along your journey, if you will. But you could say, well, that's great. You know me from my transactions, but you don't really know who I am. What are my motivators? And that's where you can take that next deep layer of customer motivations and insights, right? You've got data, you've got the insights, but how do you continue to dig even further into the emotion of it? So I'll share with you over the pandemic, those of you in the room, anybody adopt a dog? Anybody have a dog? You, I did. Or if you have a dog. There is an expectation that even more people want to be able to travel with their pets. 53% of travelers take holidays with their pets these days. That's a great data, that's a great insight. We can see people who are traveling with their pets. But if you were actually to take the emotional insight and understand specifically that unsaid thing or that unsaid emotional motivator that a lot of people don't talk about with traveling with dogs. If you have a dog and you're wanting to take a vacation, you can either choose to leave them at home, right? And if you do that, it's like, do I leave them in the kennel? Do I pay somebody probably more than I would pay for my hotel room to take care of them? Do I take them with me? And is that going to be a great experience? But if you actually look at the emotional motivator underneath that, you can say it's very stressful to travel with your pet. Anybody who's traveled with their pet knows this. So how do we speak at that level and really understand some of those behaviors? So when you look at that, we recognize that we don't need to have pet-friendly hotels. We need to have pet-inclusive hotels, pet-first experiences, or dogs-first experiences that really speak to that stress and that emotional opportunity for you to feel comforted that you can stay at our properties and we're going to take care of you. So a couple of examples of things that we have done recently by using those insights and those deeper level of motivators is we had the Staybridge Suites Dog Days of Summer. So if you were traveling with your pet, we had a dog happy hour and a human happy hour. We also at a lot of our hotels take this and run with it, take that level of insight and opportunity and create their own packages. And so we had a Hotel Indigo, had a pause and play stay, so they created a package that was really all about the pet experience. And then my personal favorite, if you don't have a puppy, who likes Prosecco in your room? We have puppies and Prosecco that are one of our hotels created. And I love the fact that these experiences are not about just pet friendly, right? They take you into, oh, I can have a good experience. I have my dog, they're not gonna drive somebody else crazy, right, in the room. They actually are tailored for that. And that is so important when you look at the emotional aspect of creating something that is going to resonate with you. It's not just an offer, it's not just your data, but it's speaking to you on a human level. So those are just some of the examples. Now, we have 19 brands, we have 6,000 destinations, and we can take these level of insight and opportunity from a true customer experience and listen to what people are saying and how we apply that to providing a great experience across everything you're doing, from your email to when you're booking to when you check in. And that, to me, is the trifecta of data, insights, and emotional opportunities and motivators to apply to your marketing. Excellent. So, sounds great, Liz, but how do you actually bring that to life? I looked at, even our travel journey and calling it the science of emotions. So what I mean by that is you can take your traditional marketing plan or your communications plan and look at how you can create that emotional across each touch point. And emotional connections are so critical to engage and retain your most valuable customers. I would say, even when you're looking at the opportunity to speak to your most valuable customers, they are the ones who are going to be most vocal and tell you what you're doing right. What am I doing well? Thank you. I don't know how to stand still. Is that better?
Closer.
Is that better? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for that. I'm now triple mic'd, so I'm usually not, I have a problem with being loud, but I know this is a big room. So hopefully, if you can't hear me, let me know. So emotional connections, again, engage and retain your most valuable customers. They are going to be the ones who give you the feedback and tell you with an honest, look at how you're showing up. So listen to them and really understand what they're saying. And at the end of the day, a lot of people are also still trying to understand how to tie that back to commercial performance. I will share with you a little secret and insight of how we think about that going all the way down to purchase. So. All right, the emotions-based marketing funnel. So you probably have heard the expression think, feel, do, right? At this point. Look at it as see, feel, do. So C is finding the moments to cut through the clutter. Where can you get somebody's attention? We know you're distracted. We know everything's media. We know we don't have endless amounts of budgets, but we'll find opportunities so that you can see our brands and how we cut through. And then connect your brand on a deeper level. And then once you can do that, and once you understand the two from a transaction standpoint, emotion-based purchases are absolutely a real thing. There was a Harvard study that came out recently that I think was 95% of purchases are based on emotions. I can tell you, and my husband can tell you, retail therapy is a real thing. But when you look at how you purchase, it is absolutely based on your subconscious, right? And when you're looking at how you're showing up, how you're driving a deeper meaning, and when you're looking to book a hotel room, it's not just about a transaction. It's about creating an experience across everything, and those emotional-based purchases come through even in lower funnel media, right? It needs to be your brand story is told across everything. So as we look at rethinking our integrated planning, these are just some ways to look at your broader awareness, but also in the C category, right? Disruptive storytelling. A big idea that cuts through all the noise through earned and PR. I think we undervalue earned and PR. We usually are thinking about earned and PR potentially as like a channel, and it's an activation after the plan. But if you actually start with, how am I going to cut through and have some of that disruptive storytelling is really critical. Then you've got social media, of course. There are so many influencers out there. Influencers is part of your media mix, telling your story, telling it in a real, authentic way, and in a way that makes you feel something, right? You've ever heard the expression, don't feel it's not real? Or if you want people to feel something, then they will automatically want to share. So having a message that is relevant to me, newsworthy, and makes me feel something. And then big media moments. You've seen IHG in the news lately, potentially with US Open and MLS, as well as anybody a college football fan here? You've seen it on college football. Those are non-skippable moments, right? Those are where you're already actively watching and you're connected with something you want to be a part of in that emotion. And then targeted awareness, certainly being able to use our data and create and pull through our connected data to ensure that we're showing up for people who have pets. If you don't have a pet, you may not want that dog in your hotel room. But if you do, then we're making sure that we are absolutely targeting our customers and our guests with the most relevant message. All of this is through our always-on demand gen marketing machine. So that is absolutely a critical part of how you can show up. All right, now I'm going to just show you some eye candy because, of course, we want to show you some pictures. Hopefully this will work. Look. This is some of the examples of, if you go back one turn, try to play the video. If not. So, yeah, there you go. So IHG is partnering with Lollapalooza and other big events and experiences that are part of the discussion. So again, it's a non-skippable moment. It's our PR, it's our earn. We have a whole lot of This is college football and showing up with Guest How You Guest. The insight with Guest How You Guest was everybody who comes to a hotel, right? You have a different hotel experience. You want to feel a sense of being yourself. You want to show up as your authentic self. And so you can guest how you guest, you can arrive how you arrive, you can stay how you stay. And that gives you, a feeling of belonging. You want to be seen, you want to be recognized, and that is ultimately what this particular campaign is highlighting. And we want to continue to have great hospitality, for all of our brands. All right. Don't you love technology? There we go. Last one. Indigo, one of my favorite brands. We had, again, an insight with Hotel Indigo, which is a boutique hotel that is really about the authentic experience of the neighborhood. If you've ever stayed at a Hotel Indigo, you know it's not just about a cookie-cutter hotel experience. It is, if you go to the Hotel Indigo on Lower East Side, it's about Lower East Side. It's about the art of the neighborhood. It's about the food of the neighborhood. And we know that when you travel to somewhere new, like if you're going to a place that you've really just want to experience that culture, that Hotel Indigo can give that to you inside the hotel as much as when you go out into the neighborhood. But they also have created an experience that is consistent around the globe as well. And the World's Neighborhood Hotel came out of, again, just listening to some of our customers who said, I love Hotel Indigo and this is why I love it. And this particular campaign was created from their feedback. So.
Why do we travel? To see? To eat? Or is it deeper? To feel something? Something that can only be experienced in one small, specific place. The neighborhood. It's where life comes alive, art thrives, and where those who are looking to be moved stay. Which is why it's always where you'll find a Hotel Indigo. From the streets of Tokyo to the sights of Dubai. Not just in the neighborhood, but of the neighborhood. So don't just visit a place, live it, dive into it, get caught up in it, then find calm in it. Hotel Indigo, the world's neighborhood hotel.
A part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.
Why do we travel?
It was so good, you want to see it. The idea of travel is something in and of itself that creates an experience that you want to live, that you want to breathe. And the way that we can tell that story through the lens of Hotel Indigo is just so powerful. All of our brands tell a different story. And being able to tap into that emotion is so critical for how we come to life. It's also critical how we show up when you walk in your door as well. So our brands are not just what you see on TV and what you see when you're looking for a hotel room, but also as you walk in the door and how you create that sense of belonging. This is just showing some insight, some influencers. So I didn't realize I had 10 minutes. I thought I had 30 minutes. I'm trying to rush through this. Again, just to highlight, and we'll go into a lot more detail with our data, as well as how we look at these customer motivators through research and through talking to our owners, listening to our hotels. But inspired data only gets you so far. Those customer motivators, those things that are intangible, that really help you understand how your brand comes to life, is really that next layer down. And then the science of emotion, of how you bring it to life through showing up in the right places across your media mix, to ensuring that you are creating that connection that's salient, that's not just about a paid placement, but something I want to be, belong to. I had a friend tell me yesterday also that you don't want to be sold to, you want to be bought, right? Or you want to have your brand not feel like you're trying to sell your, benefits, your functional things. You want for your brand to show up and for you to be a brand that people want to be a part of, that they want to seek. And that is so critical. And then, the science of emotion is something that will continue to evolve as we start looking at the future of marketing and everything else that we need to continue to be constant students of. And I'll leave you one last thing, and then I think we're going to do a quick panel or fireside chat. So, for me, when I look at finding those moments that matter, anybody heard of Unreasonable Hospitality in the room? Yes. So Unreasonable Hospitality, if you haven't read the book or heard of Will Berea, I always mispronounce his last name, but he is the restaurateur who owns 11 Madison the restaurant in New York that's one of the most acclaimed restaurants, not only in New York, in the world. And he talks about the experience of, again, understanding something that you wouldn't necessarily see just at the surface. He had a group of patrons who came in who were foodies, and they wanted to experience every single great restaurant in the New York area, whether it was Le Bernardin or Per Se, and then 11 Madison. And they had an amazing meal there. And as he was walking by, he heard one of the patrons say, like, we experienced it all. We checked all of our boxes. The one thing that we did not actually experience was a New York City hot dog, a dirty dog, which, by the way, are disgusting but delicious. And instead of just letting that moment go, he actually went out and bought 4 New York dogs off the street. He took them to his shop, and he said, he explained the situation. He wanted to give them that New York hot dog that they hadn't had. And so the chef begrudgingly took the dog and cut it into like 4 pieces, and then he put some relish on the side, and he did the, horseradish swirl and the ketchup and mustard, and they went out, and right before they left, he said, so you don't leave New York not wanting or missing out on anything and not having any regrets. Here are your New York City hot dogs. They remembered that more than than they remembered the meal at Le Bernardin, or that they remembered, their experience even at his restaurant. And that is an opportunity to go to that deeper level. And if we all do that and just stop probably looking so closely at the data and the insights from a functional standpoint, but listen and truly be motivated by that, that's where you can find your moments that matter. So look for the opportunities to deliver a great customer experience, like unreasonable hospitality. Have an unreasonable pursuit to make your guests and your customers feel seen and have a sense to belong, and then give them the experiences that they will remember. Only then, you're not about marketing your brands, you're about living them. And you are serving your teams, your owners, your customers, and giving them memories that will last a lifetime. So hopefully that will help inspire the day leaping into the future. I feel like I dressed for St. Patrick's Day, but that's okay. I am really excited about today. I think you're going to have some great speakers, and with that, I think I'm going to be on hot seat for a second if I haven't talked too long. Thank you.